the central atrium in the ground floor, it speaks to itself. It's quite easy to understand what is going on in the different levels. So by moving up the buildings, we think that building can be more easy accessible, people can be more easy to go to the different functions of the building. And so that's why we always emphasizing connectivity is important.
Well, what I want to talk about is not the scheme, it's not the design. It's about a decision-making process. Now, in fact, well, the four schemes given here are actually possibilities to, well, or you may say to arouse discussion. So each of these schemes is based on, well, the same set of given material, and having different interpretation on the extent of a conservation on addition of floor space. Swimming pool, again, well, I start off with swimming pool and then I will end with the swimming pool, right? Well, this is something that's given to you for a discussion, and I can tell you that a swimming pool is possible. It's possible. Whether you like it or not, you can give your opinion. I hate silent majority. I hate silent majority. If you want to have a view, just speak. If you don't agree to the vocal minority, speak out and then don't say that I am a silent majority but I don't like the decision. This is what gives Hong Kong its problem. So I would encourage you, whether you like all this scheme or not, get excited and speak up and then tell us what you want. Thank you.
The question was about how you move around in the building. One thing we like is that each level actually has a slightly different character because it's different connectivity. The lower two levels, one is connected to the River Road, one is connected to Queenswood Central. That means that there is a different activities possible within the natural context of the building. So the more quiet functions can be at the lower levels, where you don't have people passing through the building, and the more active functions can be at the upper level, where you have the footbridge and you get millions of people going through there. So working with the context of the building and working with the constraints as they exist, I think that's the trick here, in my view. And to understand that better, because that was one of your questions, I think you can look at the models. Because of the models, it's kind of shown how they connect.
And where are the models, Mike?
Models is now the China Ferry Terminal. We'll be moving to City Walk next week, and then during after Easter to Chocolate.
Are you going to let them permanently somewhere people can always walk in, or?
No, because we are moving forward, as like Barry said, we're working on the opinion and then develop the blueprint.
Okay, that was your final word.
So my final word is to conclude this morning. We get three major factors. The first one is architectural design. The second one is management plan. And the third one is the new function. What kind of new function do we introduce onto the central market? The last word I would like to say, we need evolution, and hope all the changes and metamorphosis onto the central market will bring the winner is the people of Hong Kong. Thank you.
Okay, so make sure you let your voice be heard. There is an email address on the website. Send in your comments. Make sure that the URA hears you. I'm going to give the very, very last word to the Fringe Club, who likes to do a short announcement.
I thought for you, my last word.
Was that not your last word? You took the mic. You want the mic last word? Okay. Before Kath takes it in?
I think, yes. I think thanks everybody for the views, in the sense that I don't agree that's really their program, okay? What they are proposing is not really having impact on the central management of the users. As you see from all schemes, a large degree of spaces within the building itself will be public space, so they don't need management except cleaning and things, because they are public, they are open space, they are atrium. True, 440,000 square feet.
Right, even a park, you need management, right?
I'm saying management, management in terms of maintenance, but not what Paul and other people talking about shops and management plans. So that will be dealt with. I think the publicness of the building is important, and that is what they have done. Okay, 50% of the building being able to access by the public without having to pay, and then those do not need rent. Okay, people don't need to pay rent to go into a park. People don't need rent to go into an exhibition area to have the lunchbox. I think this is very important. I think views are very important. Take for example, I wanted to respond to what Katie said about the market. In a sense, she 2 years to 3 years ago has pointed out and highlighted issues about the hawkers. We use our eyes and brain, not ears. Go see for yourself what Katie comment has aroused or has created debate about the market. All the shops have been moved to be relocated. They're operating there. Go see what's for yourself. 5 minutes away. Thank you.
Okay, we're not going to let Katie respond to that because this is a very long discussion. The only thing I can say, guys, 80,000 people on the Facebook fighting for Mr. Waffle Man. So, I mean, you know, we get things changed in this town, I mean, but it's going to take a long fight. With all of that, we'll finish up the discussion. I'm going to give Fringe Club a final word on an introduction of a program.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and thank you, everybody, for tolerating with me for a couple of minutes. I was actually very tempted to share with you all about this, how the Fringe Club has managed this heritage building since 1983. And we kind of took over it when it was a very rundown building, yeah, and then here we are, you know, the area has grown around us and all that, but I'm not going to take up more of your valuable time. I actually came in here because I feel after all the professional discussion and all the very kind of heated debate this morning, I'd like to offer you a little bit of a dessert before you go. This is a very delightful design project out in the foyer. It's been the work of the past year of the Hong Kong U Space Studio Design Program. Their lecturer Judy, who's here, actually came to me and said, I want to give some real example to my students to do some design work. And I said, yes, great, come along. And then, you know, we chat and give them presentation about what we do and things. And that was in December when I saw their presentation. I was so impressed and I was so feel so privileged and honored. They put so much time and do what they have done. So I actually said, why don't you come and exhibit? So I think this is perfect timing. Today we've got so many architects and people who are interested in arts, interested in heritage. So I would really like to ask you to go and have a look. Some of the students are there. The opening won't be until 2:30, but you know, you're welcome to come back for a drink after lunch and talk to them. But what they're doing is creative design. They don't have the burden of the finance. They don't have the burden of the town planning and the, well, I didn't brief them what we want because I told them what we do and that kind of thing. But I mean, you know, every tray needs fresh blood. I mean, like when we first started in this building, nobody talks about conservation. We saw all the beautiful buildings like the post office being torn down to make way for high-rise and all that. So we've been working here, and suddenly the topic of heritage conservation become trendy. Now we are trendy. We've been here for 28 years. So I mean, oh really? You know, but you know, we do what we do, and anyways, but reason to come up is to look at the work outside.
But it's on display already. People can see it on the
website. It is in the foyer. So go and have a look, please. Yeah, it's a very creative design, and thank you very much.
Can you mention the central market for people like that? It's all going to be managing. How do we get the right manager? Who's going to manage that building? City Speak says goodbye. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you at our next conversation. Cheers.